There we go. Hey, Stephen Flitt here with, well, actually with nobody. Instagram name is man versus fruit. It's man underscore verse underscore fruit. Just gonna give you a tour of the front and the back of the garden. And yeah, just kind of go into a little detail about each and every fruit. Try to keep it pretty short and how we planted it basically. Today is April 11th, so everything's pretty much in bloom, and fortunately there's no fruits to eat yet, but we're getting there. The mulberries are almost done at least. Another few days, and hopefully we get to go munch down on those. Alright, so starting with the apricot tree here, you can see there's a bunch of fruits on here. This thing is easily 15 feet tall. I've had it in the ground now for about 8 years, I'd say. And I'm not sure of the variety. Unfortunately, the squirrels keep getting to it every year quicker than I can. So the ones I have tried have always been sour because I can never let them fully ripen. In terms of just putting it in, before I mulched the whole yard, this was just put in the ground, really with no soil amendments. They just went together. I think it was like a 3-gallon pot. And yeah, pretty easy to grow, pretty standard, just a mulberry tree. Moving on, Monstera deliciosa. Picked this up from Exotica Rare Fruit Tree Nursery down in Vista, California. It went through our winter here, which got down to like 30 degrees, no problem. This is a kumquat. I think it's called the Nagami variety. Kind of a little sour on the inside, sweet on the outside. Goji berries. I haven't actually got to eat any of these yet because I just planted it late last summer, but it went through a winter, no problem. Here is, I believe this is the Bartlett pear. I believe that's the cultivar. But definitely a pear. It's been also in the ground for about 8 years. You can see how tall it is. Higher than my neighbor's window in their house next door. I've got to try this one. It's pretty good. You know, it's a pear. For fun, I planted sayote or chayote, which is the vegetable, green vegetable used in soups. This is just a lemon. I'm not sure of the variety. I've also in the ground for 8 years now. This one came with a couple things I ordered from Plantagram, which this is a Suriname cherry, the red variety. Growing really, really well. Grew extraordinarily well actually in the winter. Didn't like last summer too much, but in the winter time it grew a lot of foliage, and it seems to continue to want to grow more and more. Really glossy green. Here's the citrus finger, the Australian citrus lime. I think that's what actually they call it. I don't know the exact name, but they're kind of those like 2 to 3 inch long. They look like caviar on the inside. Tastes like lemon lime. Pretty good. Here's some new growth on here. Meyer lemon, ton of flowers. Here's an Oscar mulberry. I got this one from Exotica Rare Fruit Tree Nursery last June as Ninja Edit. So this is an Oscar mulberry, and it is covered in fruits. I planted it last June of 2016. It was literally right down there, like just past the graft. And in that short amount of time, today is April 11th, 2017. It's, well, before it fruited and kind of weighed down the branches, this tree is at least, I'd say it's about 6 feet tall now, at its tallest point. And they just, the moment the leaves comes out, the moment the leaves come out, the fruits come out with them, and usually in 2s or 3s or sometimes 4s, it seems. Here is a lemon variety. Actually, it's a multi-grafted variety tree. It has like the Buddha's hand and lemons, and I'm not actually too sure what else. That's all I've seen on it so far. Moving on, we have the African Pride Atamoya. Planted this last June as well. It dropped its old foliage and is growing a whole bunch of new ones, and it looks like there's actually a bunch of flowers growing on it too. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but up and down each branch is covered in flowers behind each leaf. Here's some sort of unknown mandarin variety. Planted it like 7 or 8 years ago. We had a big tree in our yard which blocked the sun, so it didn't get too much growth, but trimmed it this year and it's growing a lot better now that we removed the tree too. Moving on down here, this is Siling Haba, which is a long chili from the Philippines, specifically from the Bicol region, which is the southern part of Luzon, the largest island over there. These produce about a 2 or 3 inch long chili. They're pretty spicy, green or red. Moving on, to an unknown variety of loquat, which I picked up at a local market. They didn't have the cultivar listed, just said loquat, and it was about 2 feet tall when I got it. It's grown easily 2 feet more since I've had it. It's been less than a year, and it's also widened itself quite a bit. I had to stake it a couple different ways just to hold it up. But yeah, took the winter, took the summer, and doesn't really care what you throw at it. They're easy to grow. Moving on over here, here's the red variety of dragon fruit. Really got to move these to the ground, but yeah, pretty standard. Put them in the soil and let them grow. I don't think they like full sun, so put them under a tree and give them some filtered sun, and they'll do their thing. They'll climb up, they'll sprawl the ground. I see a lot of people plant them next to a wall and they grow over the wall. This over here is a brown turkey fig, and that over there is a panache tiger. And over there to the left of it, covered by a rose bush, is a passion fruit vine. All this here are vegetable beds with Jake Mace's seed bank box. And getting into the wood chip section of the yard. We've got acerola cherry. Just planted this like a month ago. Cherimoya, another cherimoya, and another one. In terms of the varieties, this one here is a night. We got the honey heart. Another honey heart. This one I believe was the Vietnamese. So they dropped all their foliage before the spring started, and they were all regrowing back. This is a large variety of avocado I started from seed in 2016, early 2016, like in January. And it's seriously like 3 times the size of a Haas. I don't know the variety, but it's delicious. And yeah, pretty easy to grow too. This is moringa or malunggay, depending on where you're from. Grow really easily. It's stuck it in the ground. I water it once a week. Haas avocado, flowering. Hybrid avocado. I don't know what exactly it's a hybrid of, but just what it said on the tag when I picked it up. Flowering like crazy. Hopefully it fruits. We got the Kuliji and the Nazamet's pineapple guava. This is the finger banana, those small little bananas. It was given to me last before the winter started, and it's growing back all its foliage. Olympian fig. We got about an 8-year-old pomegranate tree, which I trimmed before the winter time, or actually during the winter time, and trying to make it more like tree-like, covered in fruits right now, or flowers, which are turning in fruits. Looks like we're about to turn. Got a Malika mango, just picked it up. Unfortunately, I had to chop all the flower blossoms off it. I just wanted to focus on leaf growth. Behind that is a Manila mango. Another Manila mango right over here. And then I think every gardener has their section of the yard with a bunch of potted stuff they try to experiment with, growing from seed. I got some Blanca or jackfruits. One of them is actually growing, has some green growing on it. We got through the winter somehow, dropped its leaves, but it survived. Yeah, hopefully this spring, summer, it regrows. Next to the Malika over here, we got a Gary mango, which is a Kerry seedling with some sort of Indian mango grafted onto it. I don't know the exact cultivar, but that's what it is. I picked it up from Exotica Rare Fruit Tree Nursery. Next to that is a Malaysian red guava. Picked it up early last summer in 2016, and it fruited. Unfortunately, the freaking squirrels got to it. Had like 6 or 7 fruits on it. Right here is a Big Jim loquat. Next to it is the Big Vista White loquat, and next to that is the Gold Nugget loquat. And here's a seedling mango. I believe it's the Kent I started, and a couple of sapotes. I don't know the cultivar. It's the white sapote. And here's a couple cuttings of big Granada figs I got from Spain. Hopefully they take root. And I believe that's it for the backyard. Oh, and an 8-year-old peach tree. Don't know the cultivar, sorry. Got it when I moved in here 8 years ago from like one of those Home Depot or do-it-yourself centers. Time to move to the front yard. Alright, so this one here is a lemon guava. Super underrated. It doesn't taste like lemon at all, but it doesn't have the tartness or that kind of, I don't know how to describe it, like the larger pink guavas or white guavas have. They're just, when you think guava, you think of that drink that's super sweet. This one is a little sweeter than the other guavas I've had, and they're no bigger than a golf ball, if not a little bit smaller. This one next to it here is the strawberry guava, also about the same size, no bigger than a golf ball. Both are super easy to grow. You basically just stick them in the ground and just water them. I water them once a week, maybe twice, depending on the if it's spring or summer. In the wintertime, you really don't need to water them all that much. Got Cavendish banana regrowing. Kind of died back in the wintertime. It was really young when I planted it, late summer. It's coming back with a vengeance. Got Goldfinger banana coming back. And then I am super stoked about this one. This is the King White Pakistani Mulberry. I just picked up from Papaya Tree Nursery about a month ago, and it's doing great. Came with a whole bunch of fruits on it, and I can't wait till they turn white so I can munch on these. Hopefully I get to them before the birds do. Here's a jujube, Lee variety. And you can see, I'm not sure if those are flowers or fruits, but they're all over the place. And it's just a really, really easy deciduous tree to grow. Nothing really to it. I mean, you mend your soil, the basics. Wood chips, worm castings, azomite, mycorrhizae. Maybe those aren't basics. Point is, nothing you can't buy in a store or online. Pretty straightforward. Over here is a white sapote, Socal variety. It actually flowered this winter for the first time. I just planted it before the winter started, and it's doing really, really well. Here's a Fuyu persimmon. Started about the same time as the jujube, but I'm not sure if it's dead or it's just not quite ready. We'll see. Here is the Jaboticaba. It's coming back with a vengeance. Fortunately, I planted it without knowing it doesn't like full sun when it's young. So it's coming. Last spring I put it in the ground here, and in the summer it didn't really like it too much because it was really hot. And then in the winter it kind of dropped some of its leaves. As soon as the frost was over, though, short frost we had was like maybe a few days, it's starting to grow back really, really well. And hopefully, maybe in the summertime or maybe even next spring, I'll start getting some fruit on here. It's the purple colored Jaboticaba, not the red, blue, or white ones, which those are cool too. I gotta get one of those. Got this guy just a couple months back in the winter. Here's a Persian mulberry, the purple variety. Purple black when they're ripen. It's pretty cool how the fruits come out just with the leaves. There's nothing to them. You just stick them in the ground, water them. I mean, I do a couple extra things: worm castings, azomite, mycorrhizae. But honestly, you just throw it in with the native soil and water it down, and it'll do its thing. They're pretty straightforward. Over here is an unknown variety of lychee. I have no idea. Maybe a Brewster, just based on the picture it shows, but it doesn't give me a name. And it looks like, after 2 years finally, it's starting to bud out quite a bit and all over the place. Hopefully this one looks as nice as some of the ones I see online when they're budding out, which is it's like an explosion of flowers. But hopefully we get some fruits this spring, hopefully in June. Lastly, I have this huge strawberry fruit tree, not to get confused with the Aratilis or the Jamaican cherry. This one came with the house. It must be at least 30 plus years old. This house was built like in the late 70s, maybe early 80s. And there's a ton of fruits on here. They're not quite ready yet, but they're getting there. And they're they're sweet. They turn like a bright red, almost dark red when they're ready, and they're almost like a jam, like a fig jam or strawberry jam in flavor. You just eat them whole, crack them open, eat them. All over the place, but it seems like I have the biggest one in the neighborhood. I haven't seen one bigger than this. This is easily 20, easily 25 feet. And that's the end of the tour. All right, well, that pretty much concludes it. If you have any questions, shoot me a message on Facebook. Probably on Jake Mace's Urban Gardening in Arizona, or California Tropical Fruit Trees, or just find me on Facebook under Stephen Flitt, or you can find me on Instagram under Man vs. Fruit with underscores in between. And yeah, if you have any questions or you just want to chat about fruit and tropical fruit trees, send me a message. Take care.